Hello, this is Debbie from the Cherubs Breastfeeding support team, and I'm back again to make another video today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about positioning techniques. So in the previous video I talked very specifically about the cross cradle position. So just to recap, that is when your baby is supported by the opposite arm coming across, supporting baby behind the back of the neck, through the shoulders, forearms supporting the body against mum's body, and baby scooping the breast from the inside. So on my left breast, my arm is coming across and supporting baby. My left arm could come in and can help push through with my left hand, push through my right hand so that my right arm isn't having to do all the work. And also, as you can see, my wrist becomes available for baby's head to rest on as well. So it's an alternative way of supporting the baby's head, not just through the back of the right arm, but it still allows baby's head tilt back. So this is the cross cradle position. Now some mums prefer to use the other arm, and we would call that classic cradle position. And what mums tend to do is they tend to want to put their baby in the crook of their arm. So if we were now going to do classic cradle position, they're inclined to put the baby over into the crook of the arm, because that's how we envisage holding babies and holding them while they sleep, and also we tend to bottle feed babies in this sort of position. So it's a kind of a natural assumption that we would put baby in this position over here. But as you can see, if I turn baby inwards and I keep baby's head in the crook of my arm, where is he in relation to my breast? He's completely overshot. So the only way he's going to get on, or attempt to, is to start having to put his head down and inwards. And then if we think back to what I was talking about before, natural drinking position is he's trying to drink like this and he can't. So how we can rectify that is in a couple of ways. We can maintain that position with his head being the crook of your arm if you want to, but what you're going to have to do to compensate is to bring baby round and actually twist your body round a little bit, so now baby's head is towards the middle and able to scoop with his chin leading and his head tilted back. As you can see, I can do that if I want to, but I am having to twist my arm round. And for me, that's not the most comfortable way to hold the baby. And what I'm probably going to do, and I do see mums do this, is as they start to relax, their arm starts travelling back to where it wants to naturally hang. And of course, baby's head's going to rotate round. So it's probably going to disturb what was essentially a good latch. So the other way that we can give this arm more of a job to do and do a form of the classic cradle is by either starting off with cross cradle, and when we've got baby on we can then do a swapsy over. So I now bring this arm to be in control, and as you can see I'm still doing essentially what the other arm did and the other hand did. I'm supporting right at the back of the neck, I'm allowing his chin to lead, his nose be free. I'm putting support through the back of the shoulders, and I may, particularly if it's a small baby, I may not need to have to support with this arm. I might use my elbow just to tuck his legs in, and this hand's free to drink my drink, text my friends, whatever I'm doing. Or I might wish to put my arm across here to help this arm out, or I might hold the baby's bottom and legs and do this. So as you can see, this baby hasn't moved from that optimal positioning. I've put this arm in, and if I wanted to swap back, I just start to bring this one in as I peel this one away, and this one takes back over. So as you can see, baby's not moving at all. We're maintaining that position. And either way, my arms are in a fairly neutral position. I'm not having to do much. So baby's head, even though this is classic cradle, is actually being cradled in the wrist region rather than the crook of the arm, and that's essentially where the biggest difference is. You can see that. Okay, so I'm now going to move on to laid back feeding or biological nurturing, and this is a position that you can kind of morph into from being upright feeding position, whether it's cradle or cross cradle position. So laid back feeding is literally what it says on the tin. We're just going to lay back. I'm just going to shift my hips forward slightly, and I'm going to relax back. Well, that's a nice view, isn't it, of my tummy? And we're just going to allow baby to rest on my body. So if I was to turn around, then that's essentially what we look like. This is a really, really natural way to feed a baby. So when we give birth, we deliver the baby, and we all do skin to skin after birth, and we put baby on our tummy. And as you probably, a lot of you remember, particularly if your baby was well alert at birth, not under the influence of too many labour drugs, then you probably found that your baby was starting to do the breast crawl, starting to lick, observe, stare at the breast and start doing that bobbing behaviour. And you probably noticed that they'll do that now if you put them in skin-to-skin position. These are natural feeding behaviours and reflexes that kick in, particularly when a baby senses pressure on the front of their body. And they do have like pressure sensors on the front of their ribs. They have them also on the insides of their knees, on the tops of their feet, and also on the heels of their hands. And when they are under pressure, then that instigates their feeding behaviours and reflexes. They start to go into a sequence of behaviours which are far more organised and successful with the pressure than without the pressure. So that's why when we are doing feeding positions upright, that there's a lot of pulling the baby in and tucking the baby in really nice and close, because we are triggering those sense points on the baby. If we are not pulling them in close enough, then we're having them lying on our laps and away from our body and having to get them to turn in, they can be a lot more uncoordinated and fractious, because they're kind of relying on us to trigger those pressure points. So when we're feeding upright, gravity wants to take the baby down and away, so we have to become gravity. So we're pulling the baby in nice and close. But when we relax backwards, then gravity is doing its job. It's far less about my skill and ability to hold the baby really, really close. I'm actually allowing gravity to help me out here. And I could, if this chair would allow me, I would keep going and I could recline right back, even more so. So just bear in mind when you do lie back, if your baby was not too bad a position, nose slightly touching but not too bad, when you start to lay back, that might increase that over-rotation. So before you lean back, make sure that baby really is tucked in nice and firmly, so that head's tilted right back. So when you do lean back, baby maintains that position with chin leading and he's scooping up to the rise of the breast. Okay. The breast is a 360-degree organ, so did I say that right? 360-degree organ. So your baby can attach at any angle really. So we don't have to come directly horizontal. We can come slightly diagonal if we wish. Baby can actually come up from underneath. And this little position here is known as the Koala Hold. And he can literally just straddle either thigh, can support the baby either with this hand or this one behind, and baby can scoop. You can help the baby by sandwiching the breast and rolling the nipple in, just like we did before with the other feeding position. And you can see, what are we achieving? Chin pushed in, nose free, head tilted back, baby held in close to the body. And from this position, again, you can just lay right back. And now we're doing biological nurturing laid back feeding, which is such a fabulous way to feed your baby. A really lovely, lazy way to feed your baby. I don't need to hold here. I might come over here instead. I'll allow my arm to just stop the baby's head rolling to one side and take the opportunity to hug his little chunky thigh or his little bottom. And there he is, feeding away. Chin leading, head tilted back, scooping up to the rise of the breast, really close to me, and should have a really nice deep latch. That's a really nice way to feed the baby. If I wanted to, it's not one I've ever tried, if I wanted to, I could technically feed my baby this way. And sometimes mums that have C-sections, this will be their first feed because it's the area of the body that's not being dealt with, obviously, with all the action going on as they're sewing mum up. So if I imagine I was lying horizontally, oh, sorry, my clip's digging in my head, then you could have babies scooping up to breast from this angle. So technically that worked, but it's probably not the one you're going to be using, especially perhaps in Costa Coffee when you're out with your friends. So that's a quick kind of tour really of biological nurturing and laid back feeding. And what I'm going to do shortly is also post some videos on expressing. So we're going to be looking at hand expression, how to actually do that, and also going to be talking a little bit more about maximising your yield and making expressing, whether you're using a hand pump, an electric pump, or your hand and a machine as well, how to get the most milk out in the quickest time, and certain strategies that can help, and explain why that is. Okay, so thanks for tuning in again, and speak to you soon.